Good evening, everyone. I'd be lying if I said we were expecting to do this show tonight. Andy and I are live. Welcome for the fourth round of the Carabao draw. As we've only gone and beat the best club team in the world. Newcastle United have just beat Man City 1-0 at St James's Park thanks to Alexander Isak. Oh, what a 90 minutes. We've got 15 minutes before the draw, which is the perfect amount of time to go through what we've just seen. Don't forget the lads are there at St James's. Don't forget to go to the Green King pub. Don't forget you've got all the content coming up tonight from a famous win at St James's. Andy, how are you feeling, mate?
Very, very happy. Very surprised to be doing this, if I'm honest. I thought if we were going to win it, we'd maybe do it on pens, not. I mean, especially after that first half, and then the second one, we just came and blew them out the water. Really, didn't have an answer to the substitutions we've made, and I mean, Livermento's going to get all the plaudits, really, but you've got to give it to Paul Dummett. And it's his first game in bloody how long, and he's kept a clean sheet.
So many heroic performances tonight. Livramento for me, man of the match. Absolutely stunning performance. And it was a case of I knew he was good, but I didn't realise he was maybe that good. Get your comments in, get your likes in. We're through to the next round. We're on a cup run again. If you're joining us, if you're a fan of one of the other teams in English football, you're welcome. Um, but yeah, Newcastle have beaten Man City, so smash the like button. Livramento. Let's just a word on him because we'll come on to the game as a whole shortly. But what a way to kind of introduce yourselves. Two little substitute appearances here and there. We've not really seen the most. We've not really seen anything of him. Let's face it. 90 minutes, one-on-one against Grealish for most of the game. Doku came on towards the end. I don't remember Grealish really having a sniff. He had a shot from distance, and that was about it. What a performance from Tino Livramento.
Yeah, kept Grealish quiet, and then I think it was only that one moment where Doku got past him, but it didn't lead up to anything. He's had an absolutely incredible game, and I mean, we thought that the biggest selection headache was going to be up top between Isak and Wilson, and I mean, Livermento was fully throwing his name in the hat for more games and more minutes. For me, there, Trippier will be looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to swap Trippier over to left back. We've one person who we've got to mention is Paul Dummett, like you say. 32 years of age yesterday. If I'd have told you this morning that Jamal Lascelles and Paul Dummett would keep a clean sheet against Manchester City, you would have called me some names.
First of all, I wouldn't have thought I'd woken up. That have started to panic. I mean, the defense has been great. Matt Target as well. I think Matt Target forgot a bit where he was playing in the first half, but second half he's cleaned it up. And I mean, he's some brilliant interceptions and getting rid of the ball there the last couple of minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous that we've not had to take the penalties and we've done it within normal time. It's just going to be interesting now to see if we'll have a kind of a cup run that we had last year, and whether it's all going to be top opposition. I know we had Tranmere away at one point, but for the rest of it, was all Premier League teams. So hopefully lower league opposition in the next round. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes to the fourth round draw. I mean, City, no Haaland. They didn't even bring him off the bench tonight, but we had no Botman. So I think that cancels it out. We had Dummett and Lascelles who defended manfully all game. I thought the first half was really weird.
Yeah.
Not just with the kind of dullness on the pitch from two kind of attacking sides, but I thought the atmosphere around the stadium was flat. I thought the game was obviously flat. It was a really weird, even before the game, obviously we weren't in the stadium tonight, but there was a wall flags, bring your scarves. I didn't see many scarves at all.
Yeah.
It just seemed a really flat night up until the second half. Bruno and Gordon get brought on at half time. I don't think Miley and Hall did bad, to be honest, but just energy that they provided coming on.
Yeah, I mean these cup nights are kind of always like that. I mean, I know the cup scheme's been good this season, so a lot of season ticket holders have got their seats. Sometimes it takes like quite a while for the atmosphere to kind of pick up, especially with it being against Man City. I thought being in the first round of the cup we've entered as well. It's always going to be that little bit flat and take the building up, and then when Man City's taking the sting out of the game at every opportunity that they had in the first half, it was just it was like the bit of the lull. I don't know whether it was because there was people in seats where they usually aren't, and maybe people that aren't as up to sing as others are, and they just need that bit of encouragement from the team, which ultimately they got in the second half. So
Yeah, the energy and and the team. Obviously, there wasn't a lot for the fans to shout about in the first half. It was ridiculously dull. Second half, brilliant work from Jacob Murphy, fantastic work from Joe Linton, and Isak's left with a bit of a tap in really. Um, just the stadium erupted, and then every challenge, every tackle, every little positive thing Newcastle United did was met with a huge roar. And I think, Andy, when St James's Park is like that, as it was in the second half, there's nowhere better in world football.
no, I mean, for the opposition, you've got to feel sorry for them really, because you're not playing against 11. You're playing against 11 men on the pitch, but then you've got 52,000 screaming as well. It just makes up, and I mean, you can tell these lads feed off it as well, and they love it. You see where like Isak's throwing like come-ons at the Gallic and that, and getting everyone up. It's just if we play at our best at home, I don't think we'd get beat by anyone, and I think we can take anyone on, and especially in the Champions League as well. I mean, if anyone from PSG was watching that tonight, they'll definitely not fancy it, especially if they've not got Mbappe.
Mbappe will stay injured now after he's seen that from Dummett. He won't want a piece. He won't. He won't want it. But Eddie Howe, the starting 11 came out, and we were surprised, really, weren't we, about how many changes were made. Yes, we had Tonali on the pitch and Alexander Isak and Joe Linton back. Huge influence on the game. So great to have his muscle back in the middle of the park. But Lewis Hall, Lewis Miley, and Livramento, who has got the official man of the match award, and rightly so. Um, yeah, Lascelles. I thought Lascelles was fantastic. A much changed team. I don't think anyone saw 10 changes coming.
No, not at all. I would have thought Gordon would have still been in there. Obviously, with Harvey Barnes being out, that was kind of our only out and out left winger, so to say, left. I thought with Gordon, and then there was absolutely no mention of Joe Linton being back and ready. So that was a complete surprise. But you're right with what you were saying about Joe Linton. He's just an absolute enforcer in the middle. He was just an absolute brick wall today, and you can see the City players were struggling with it. And I thought Calvin Phillips, I thought should have been booked a lot earlier on.
Yeah. I mean that kind of performance now shows why Pep hasn't been playing him for the last 2
Yeah,
years.
yeah, exactly. I think he played with too much frustration. If you get what I mean, he played like a player that hasn't been getting picked. Whilst I think our lot, I mean, when you look at Dummett and Lascelles, they've came in and done an absolute professional job tonight. You couldn't have asked more from them. I mean, obviously Lascelles gets the more minutes. He's still the club captain, but the fact that Dummett came on had an outstanding game, really.
He was fantastic. He's superb.
Uh,
Fantastic. I mean, it looked like he needed oxygen at the end, like, but it's a shame he couldn't quite see out the last couple of minutes. But yeah, what a performance! It just goes to show that you know there's a bit of squad depth now. There's competition for places. We saw. I mean, the like Botman wasn't even on the bench. Wilson wasn't even on the bench. I don't think Sean Longstaff was on the bench either. Um, yeah, squad depth. So many positives to come out of tonight's win. Obviously, because we've just been the best team in the world. Um, but just one minor negative, which I don't think is too serious now. Isaac looks to have come off injured, but what I will say as a caveat to that, he has just done the interview with Sky, which I haven't seen because it's muted,
yeah,
and he didn't go straight down the tunnel. So I would like to think it's precautionary. I don't think he'd be starting on. I like this little rotation thing Howe's got on at the moment because it's working at the moment. That's why I like it. So I think we would be right to assume that Wilson starts Saturday anyway, and Isaac would start against PSG.
Yeah, Eddie Howe's very quickly becoming an FPL nightmare when it comes to who you want in. Um, yeah, I think it'll definitely be Wilson comes back in. It'd be interesting to see if Joe Linton starts against Burnley. I don't think you'll want to have him play too many minutes with him. Supposedly not even meant to be back yet. But I've just seen we've had a lovely little donation.
Yeah, get clicking on some comments, and as we see, particularly that one from Michael, £10 from Michael. What a donation! What a man, Michael. Thank you very, very much indeed, sir. Um, smash that like button, the rest of you. You don't all have to follow Michael's lead, but thank you very much if you want to. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you again. Hit the like button, subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. Go in and have a look at our membership packages, 99p or 1.99, absolute bargain. Join the community. But yeah, the draw. I mean, look, I don't think of myself a pessimist, but I think of myself a realist. I wasn't looking at the next round draw. I'll be honest.
No, no. I mean, with this cup, I think you've got to expect the surprises, haven't you? And I mean, I think we're still in that kind of thing of getting used to winning. I mean, I wasn't looking at all. I mean, I think we're number 16 in the draw.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just another point, I'm going off on a tangent because obviously this is just a spur of the moment show, so I've got no structure in my head for a show whatsoever. But 4 clean sheets in a row is that now? Brentford, Milan, Sheffield, and Man City. I mean, we've done them even on XG, which you think they're domination in the first half without creating too much.
They,
Uh,
they, they had what, one or two. They had that one where Alvarez put it out for the throw in, but even then they didn't look dangerous. You know what I mean? It's just it was boring the first half, just because City were getting it uh, towards the final third and then just passing it to each other, and that's fine. You can do that, but you've also got to have something on the end of it, which they just haven't had tonight.
yeah, good advice. Have something on the end of it. Moving on. Looking at who we could face, do you want a home draw, or is it a case of do you want like a Port Vale away? Maybe you want to see Sandro Tonali go into the real rough part of Stoke-on-Trent.
Well, we did well, didn't we, last season with the home draws? I think we only had Torquay away. Torquay away? No, Tranmere away.
Tranmere, yes, and then obviously the 2 legs against Southampton. But yeah,
Um, yeah, I think another home one, just because I mean that home advantage we've got is bigger than any team in this country. In possibly, would you say it's top 5 home advantage in the world right now? I'd probably say so.
yeah. I mean, we'll probably know more this time next week
Yeah.
when we've just finished playing against Paris Saint Germain. Um, lovely, cool, calm finish as well by Isaac. By the way, the TV just showing that now. Yeah, God, this team is. I think it's safe to say we're back now. Where we're in our sort of clean sheet defence and scoring goals.
I mean,
There's nothing better.
the view on our start's been very harsh. In terms of like the teams we've had, I mean, Villa absolutely blasted them out the park.
They lost at home to Everton tonight.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Liverpool won 3-1, but they were 1-0 down at half time to Leicester.
Yeah, I don't want to play them.
No, no. But yeah, the start. I mean, Liverpool were beat ourselves by some dodgy decisions from the management, with players coming off that shouldn't have really came off, and then I don't think there was any excuses at Brighton. It was just a really really poor day, but we've
Yeah,
seemed to just totally turned it around now. And just obviously we should be beating Burnley at the weekend. I'm not expecting 8-0s, but we should be putting a few past them. and then on to PSG on the midweek one. So
It's all happening. It
yeah,
is all happening. There's no respite now. So yeah, Burnley at home to come on Saturday, and now we're waiting any minute now for the Carabao Cup fourth round draw. As always, they are dragging it out as much as they can.
yeah, would have liked to have Izzy Christiansen nowhere near the draw after last time, but which is
Did she
the
do it last time? Did she? I
yeah,
can't remember. Even though it was us doing the live.
yeah, it was me, you, and Adam, wasn't it?
Yeah, I seem to have deleted that from my mind palace.
Yeah, she picked out City. So
Ah, well, at least we got the home draw. But yeah, a couple of points to pick up from is the from the second half in particular, the intensity just went up tenfold, and I think a large part of that was obviously from the front with Gordon, with Murphy, with Joe Linton just in behind. That intensity, um, I think, was the big contributing factor to winning us the game tonight.
yeah, but it's just I mean I'm going to go on a tangent about Anthony Gordon again because he's just an absolute star, and I think this is only the very beginning of what he's got to come in a black and white shirt. He's absolutely incredible. He's exactly what we needed. I said this in January, and I got a lot of stick for the comments I made regarding Gordon's transfer when it came in. I said there was a reason Chelsea were sniffing around for 60 million bids in the summer before we signed him. We got him at a cut price of 40, and he already looks past that evaluation for me after the last couple of games. The way he just turns attacks on like that by nicking so many where he's nicking the ball off Rico Lewis and just going and driving, and I think we're going to score so many from where he's getting on the touchline, putting it back. We'll score so many from there then this season. And it's just our intensity is I can't really think of a team in the Prem that matches it.
Lesonator is in the comments and has donated $4.99. Lesonator, you leginator. Milan was all fun and games. I'm going with it. You can giggle to yourself all you want, mate. I'm sticking with it. Milan was all fun and games, but cups are won or lost on a rainy Tuesday night in the crap end of Stoke. So I'm guessing, Les, you won't put Vale away. Bring anyone on. We'll give them a go. Yeah, yeah, bring anyone on so long as we're at home. But yeah. But thank you very much, Les. Fantastic, superb. Thank you. Very, very generous of you to donate with a super chat there. Smash that like button. The draw is coming up any minute now. Eddie Howe's just speaking to Sky. And I'm probably guessing it's going to be 10:30 by the time they eventually roll onto the draw. But we've got more reaction. We've swooned over Tino Livramento. We've swooned over Paul Dummett. We've swooned over Anthony Gordon. Bruno, when he came on at half time with Gordon, superb.
Absolutely, he's like, undeserved stick that he got at the start of the season was absolutely ridiculous, and it's just these performances just remind you of how good of a player that Bruno is. He's just absolutely fantastic. Turns the ball on a die, carries us forward so much from our own half. He's one of those players that you're very, very, very lucky to have. And I mean, well, the money we paid for him as well. I mean, now you'd be paying 3 times as much.
Mm.
He's just absolutely class, and he came in as from Lyon as supposed this defensive midfielder, but he comes forward with so much flair. I mean that no look pass he played through for Jacob Murphy, where Murphy just caught it. He's class. He's got so much like just cool. He's just cool to watch on the ball. Like the little flicks he does, like passes. I think Tonali in the second half as well got back into it and showed his class. It's just I think when we have everyone fit, we're going to be a real problem this season.
Yeah, second half was really encouraging it from a midfield aspect because, again, first half we weren't clever with the ball at all. We were struggling to keep possession. Um, Tonali was struggling. I thought Miley was arguably the pick of the three, but Joe Linton, when Bruno came on, and Tonali really improved in the second half of the midfield, there was signs there that it was just starting to click into gear. So many positives because them three names on a team sheet. There's not many better in Europe that you can do. Oh, and Josh Benyard in the comments. All right. Yeah, so the draw is not so far away. Oh, they're cutting to a break, man. Jesus, get over and done with. Some of us have work in the morning. Yeah, Joe Linton. Let's swoon over him now as well. Now we've ticked the Bruno box. What a difference he makes with physicality and just energy in that midfield.
I think the only way I can describe him is an absolute brick shithouse. He's just an absolute. There's probably better technical terms to use, but he's so dominant in that midfield. I mean, the width of him as well. You just couldn't get past him tonight. And the way he's holding up the ball, his work for the goal was fantastic.
Oh,
He was like a bull in a china shop, just bullied his way through. He was unfortunate not to get a shot off himself because I think if he had, he would have put the ball through the net. But he's just done brilliant to find Isak at the back post. And Isak, like you said, so calm and cool, collected, very much like him, and slotted it in the back of the net.
one team I hope we don't get is Exeter away. We don't need that on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. My thoughts and sympathies would be with Lee Lawler if that was to happen. But surely that breaks. Oh, Josh, he's
Oh
just
wow!
he's
He
on
had
a car bonnet.
look
That
at
breaks the perfect time to mention the Green King pubs and how mint they are. Of course they are. There's over 900 of them, and they all show every televised Newcastle United match. My word! Wow,
every device one
they bring the action to you.
to me.
To you, good sir, and we will be at the junction for every televised away game this season doing a watch along, illness pending, which kind of spoiled the Milan one a little bit, but yeah, very much my fault there because I got ill. But yeah, a couple of other things. Despite being completely dominated in the first half, we could have gone in ahead had Jacob Murphy put it in the net. Where did he go wrong? Should he have passed it? Should he have wellied it? What? It was just a bit of a tame attempt, really.
I should have just put it in the net. We all had the same reaction in the NFTV chat, didn't we?
The classic John Anderson.
Tried to give me best Ando impression, but he's just my heart goes out to Jacob Murphy. He just seems to it never goes right for him in a one-on-one situation. I mean, when you think of the goal he scored against Spurs last season, that one just seemed like it should have been a breeze, but just I don't know. You cannot help but love him. I think the kind of turnaround he's had since he first signed for the club and being away out on loan and stuff, and continue to manage to get minutes in this squad shows how much Eddie Howe obviously.
Maybe Rafa Benitez underachieved with only a top 10 finish because Murphy's a Champions League player now. Hosselu's a Champions League. Hosselu played for Real Madrid now. Mikel Marino, maybe he underachieved.
The redemption arcs that have happened in the past couple of years from Newcastle players has been ridiculous. I mean, even Remy Kabir's even managed to get back at a decent level, I think.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
In the background, can you just find out what the numbers are for this fourth round draw? Because this is showing how underprepared we are for a fourth round draw. I did put it on the NFTV Twitter feed earlier on this afternoon, if that helps. But yeah, we are definitely number 16 as the draw is now a minute or two away. I say that, they'll probably cut to an interview with Pep Guardiola now. But yeah, Newcastle are number 16, so that's the number you've got to look out for. Plenty of other Premier League teams not in the fourth round draw. We won't be facing Aston Villa. They put out a strong team against Everton tonight, and yet they still lost 2-1 at home.
Two good results.
Brighton are out. They lost to Chelsea. And Brentford are out. They lost to Arsenal.
Yeah.
West Ham are through. Liverpool are through. Fulham are through. Bournemouth are through. I'm guessing if it is an away game, we need to be avoiding like your Bournemouths.
Yeah.
Exeter.
Yeah. Do you want me to go through the numbers? I've got them up.
Oh, please do.
So you've got Burnley number 1, Exeter number 2, Ipswich number 3, Newton Heath number 4, Mansfield Town number 5, Middlesbrough number 6. That would be a decent home draw. Or Warfield 7, Bournemouth 8, Everton 9, Blackburn 10, Arsenal 11, Chelsea 12, Fulham 13, West Ham 14, 15 are Liverpool, and 16 is obviously Newcastle United.
Lovely stuff. There's a lot of away journeys there you probably do want to avoid, to be fair.
Yeah.
It is an absolute clusterfuck to get to.
There's not a lot of the North teams left in there.
Yeah. There are a few, aren't they? It's going to be interesting, but I think that the safe answer is pretty much anyone at home you'd fancy us, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'd love us to get Borough just to watch us absolutely thrash them. I think it'd be quite funny. Here we are.
Neil Lennon's turned up out
Just
of nowhere.
is nowhere near doing the draw. There we go. That's. Oh, but Neil Lennon's gonna have.
The away team, Don Goodman is having. I mean, anyone who was unfortunate enough to be watching the UK feed today, Don Goodman does clearly. I know he used to had a short stint at Sunderland, but he really does not like Newcastle.
Neil Lennon will be having head back hair.
Yeah, I don't know where Neil Lennon's come from all of a sudden. Let's read a few comments just before the draw starts. Mike, hopefully we get a good draw, lads. Absolument. Daz, how good were Dummett and Lascelles, by the way? Absolutely, they were. Absolutely super. And it's a bit of vindication. I've always been a Lascelles guy. I always said, whilst, he's not the first choice, and sort of rightly so, I've no issue with him coming in for the odd game and doing a job. I still think he's a solid centre back who captains this club with distinction. Sarker Steve, he wants Arsenal at home next round. Kenny Hosselu scored tonight as of all people. Yeah, the draw is now seconds away. Mansfield as well. Shame James Purchase not long left Mansfield. That would have been good to welcome Pacino back. But, the balls have dropped.
Oh, the balls have dropped.
Neil Lennon's doing the home teams from the looks of it, and the draw is underway. And the first name out is number 5, which is Mansfield. Oh, you're doing that. Oh, look at that. You're on it.
I do the bottom ticker.
Beautiful. They're playing number 7, which is Mansfield versus Port Vale. So either Mansfield Town or Port Vale are going to be in the 5th round of the Carabao Cup, which I think this is the quarterfinals, isn't it?
Right.
This is the last 16.
Yeah.
Right. Ipswich Town is the next team out. They're going to be at home.
Don't mind that.
To number 13, Fulham.
Right, let's just get Arsenal versus Man United out of the way, or Arsenal versus Liverpool, or Liverpool versus Man United. Just get them out of the way.
Next team out, number 4, is Manchester United. Would you want this?
No. I mean, we'd beat them at the minute. They're bloody useless.
Well, we're going to Old Trafford.
Bloody typical, eh?
So, after beating Manchester City, we are now going to Old Trafford, and Newcastle United are away to Manchester United in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. Oh, instant reaction to that as Bournemouth are drawn out.
Cup final redemption. They're struggling at the minute. I think we're a much better team than they are.
Bournemouth have got Liverpool.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have that at home because I think we would win it quite easily. Um, Chelsea are the next team out. They've got a home draw. Good for them. Um, Obviously, our record, like many teams, at Old Trafford is pretty poor. Chelsea have got Blackburn. That would have done.
yeah. It's been a long time since we've been at Ewood Park as well.
14 is the next ball out. If you're just joining us, we've got Man United away. West Ham, they're at home as well. Good for them. Pleased for them.
Is it us? Are we the bad luck son?
Possibly. I mean, look what happens the one time I don't do a watch along. West Ham Arsenal. That's a tasty draw.
Yeah.
So,
To be fair, we've avoided Liverpool, we've avoided Arsenal. I think they were the only two that I was really bothered about.
yeah.
Man United and Chelsea, both their names obviously carry a lot more than what the squad actually does at the minute. And I think these lads, the whole thing about the cup redemption that's been going on in the background, I think they'll be right up for it.
Everton have got Burnley. And I think there's just one more game to go,
On paper, that sounds like.
which is Exeter. They've got a home draw. And who's left? Can you work it out before the team is revealed? It's number 6, Middlesbrough. Oh, man. I feel sorry for those Middlesbrough fans.
I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Teesside to Devon. Ouch. Okay, let's recap this draw in full, and then we'll get some proper reaction. Get your reaction into the comments, and we'll read them out before we finish. Plenty of things to discuss, as it's a rematch from last season's final, but this time it's at Old Trafford. Manchester United versus Newcastle United in the fourth round. What a treat after beating Manchester City at home. The draw in full is as follows: Mansfield Town versus Port Vale, Ipswich versus Fulham, Manchester United versus Newcastle United, Bournemouth versus Liverpool, Chelsea Blackburn, West Ham Arsenal, Everton Burnley, and a long, long trip for Borough fans. They are away to Exeter. Andy, thoughts?
into them from the off. We've beaten the best team in club football. Yes, we're going away, but they're just pants at the minute. Hopefully, Ten Hag is still there, and hopefully they're still having the absolute meltdowns that they're having. It's been quite a quiet week for them, so the bloody hell. My back door's just opened by itself. My heart's just dropped out my chest.
Sooner you move out, the better, I think.
Yeah, soon. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, hopefully they're overdue a kind of crisis at the club, aren't they? They've had a quiet week so far, so something will come up. And
Yeah.
I fancy us to do it away. No, if we carry on this run of form we're on at the minute, where we just seem like we're improving with every game and rotating, and we're going to absolutely play them off the park.
All I can say is, let's fucking give it to them.
Whoa.
Plenty of comments coming in.
Anyhow.
Right, let's take some from the top. Mike, we get both Manchester teams. How's your luck? Jake, cannot cope with how hard people are trying to fix our draws in the cups this year. JB, it will be all the sweeter when we win the cup. Man United's last 5 draws have all been home fixtures, says Stu. Time to do the double over the Manc team, says Kyle. That's what I like. Frankie, look on the bright side, everyone. If we beat them, then we can't get them in the final. There is that, isn't there? Yeah, Stephen. Man United away. Manure away. Not scared. It's there to win. Of course it is. Peter, are we home or away? We are away. It's Old Trafford. Yeah, let's give it to him. Our draws have been horrific this year, so we've got to stop doing these, haven't we? We weren't even expecting to do one tonight,
I mean,
and
to be
we've jinxed it again.
Eddie Howe hasn't got far to travel because he lives in Ten Hag's Head rent free, doesn't he? So,
That's true. That's true.
um,
Um, yeah, our record's there, but you look at that team that you're up against because I believe we'll probably go. I'm not sure on the dates though. This is the problem because I'm guessing it's quite quick succession. So is it going to be another Carabao Cup in between Champions League midweeks?
it's 30th of October. I think it's just at the
So that's the week before Dortmund.
yeah. Um, Obviously, they've got Champions League as well.
Mm.
I'd have rather the Man United over at Chelsea, where they're not playing in other like European competition. I, I just think we've got better depth than them at the minute. And I mean, the fact that Paul Dummett and Jamal Lascelles can do that against Man City, and yes, I know Haaland hasn't played, but they've still had Foden, Julian Alvarez, who is one of the top 10 strikers in the world probably at the minute. Grealish was on the pitch, Jeremy Doku. They've had their superstars out, and they've kept them quiet. So I just really fancy us thinking about it. I think their heads can go quite quickly, and by this time we should have Joe Willock back as well. So I think
That
we'll.
would
I
that
think
would be nice.
we'll only be missing Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, it's a real occasion. It's one to get up for this, and I don't think because obviously it's not a final, but it is at Old Trafford. I don't think the occasion will get the better of us. Joe just said the occasion got to us, never again
Well,
in the final. So we
yeah,
would have learned lessons
it's
from that.
a learning curve, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think the occasion didn't get to us for as long in Milan. Um, we'll see next week whether it does when we're at home to PSG. But the team's growing, it's evolving, and hopefully this is the next step of that, and we can get some revenge at Old Trafford from last season's final. Um, the more I talk about it, the more I fancy it.
Yeah, it was the same thing as the group draw. Is like the team names that carry more weight than what their actual players do. I think, especially with the case of Man United at the minute, they got tonked off Spurs. They've got some unconvincing wins in the league. They just they look like one small thing now away from the whole team just absolutely blowing up. You hear these rumors going on all the time that they've lost the dressing room. So just keep fingers crossed. By then they'll be in full on crisis mode.
I think Lesonate has got an acca in
Whoa.
tonight. She's donated another £4.99. Very kind,
Someone's
very
had
kind
his
indeed.
1-0 on.
If we already beat the good team from Manchester, they won a game. Let's give it to him. Absolument. Thank you very much for your donation once again. Um, yeah, it's one of them. The more I think about it, the more I think it's there. I think we'll play a stronger starting 11 than we will do tonight.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, like you say, it's 7 days before Dortmund. Who have we got in the league in between? Then that's probably worth a look, isn't it?
So at the
Is
end,
that West Ham?
so it'll be
No, it's not.
it's after Wolves away. 'Cause Wolves away is the 28th on the Sunday. I want to say.
Yeah,
That's our next live away game on the
yeah,
10th. Uh,
yeah.
so that's the next league game we're in the junction for. Um,
I
ooh,
say B. It's
it's,
like so it's half an hour from my house.
we are at home on the Saturday.
Oh, I know it is. Is it Arsenal?
It's Arsenal.
Mm. See, this is the balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah,
How do you manage your squad? So far, so good. Howe's played a blinder because we've got wins. We've got wind in the league. We've got a fantastic point away at Milan. We've just beat Man City at home in the cup. So it's how long can we keep this going for? We don't want to see any more injuries. like heart in mouth when you saw Isaac and Bruno down at the same time tonight. We don't want to be seeing any more of that.
You've got to think of how much of it will have been time wasting as well. Um, but I think Isaac will have just been nervous with Harvey Barnes going off at the weekend. I think that'll be totally precautionary. I don't think they wouldn't have sent him out to do a interview if he wasn't fit.
I
Uh,
agree.
and I think it's just showing that versatility that Gordon has. He can play anywhere across that front three for me, and I know
Yeah, Murphy was up top as well through the middle at one point during that second half. It was very fluid. It was really
Gordon was in the middle, and then obviously Murphy and Mickey on the corresponding wings. But I just Gordon is a fantastic talent to have. Someone that we've been kind of crying out for, that player that can play across the front three in any position and do a job, and he has against the best team in the league. He's probably been unfortunate not to get an assist.
yeah. Jim asked, "Did you ever think you'd say we have better squad depth than Manchester United?"
Well, that's it. That's the thing. You think if the fucking butcher, as he's so, how on earth he's ever got that nickname? It's just if he gets knackered, Maguire's obviously way off the best form of his life, and I think he's definitely past his peak, and I don't think he's going to return to form anytime soon. Then it's Lindelof and do you call it fucking Johnny Evans? You know what I mean? Paul
Yeah.
Thomas is a better bloody player now than Johnny Evans is. I mean, you can bloody quite safely say that after he's played for 93 minutes against the best club team in the world and kept them quiet.
Johnny Evans is known as the Northern Irish Dummett. I've heard.
Just it's a common thing. That isn't it? I heard that because there was the rumor going around that Paul Dummett was the Welsh Johnny Evans. So I think that one's been cleared up.
He's not fucking Welsh. Let's be. He's about as Welsh as you are. Yeah, but let's have a look at a few more comments before we finish. I say we finish. We've got plenty more coming up on Newcastle Fans TV tonight. Um, the match reaction might already be out. I don't know, but Johnny would have done that. And then, of course, we've got the last word as well from what would be a very buoyant St James's Park. Jack wants us to play the kids. We're due a run in the FA Cup, and I still feel strongly about that competition. Yeah, we're vastly overdue a good run in the FA Cup, aren't we? Haas, what a season we are going to have this season. All top class teams in all draws. What a learning experience for this team and Eddie. Bring on next season. Well, I think we're going to have some fun this season first. So let's not wish away our future. The way Man United have been playing this season, says Dean, we may as well put the under-23s up against them. I don't think you've seen our under-23s. Yeah, but there's so many positives to take out of tonight, isn't there? What's the biggest positive for you, Andy?
I don't know. I think it probably just beating the best club team in the world with by far away from our strongest squad. And I mean, I know they rotated as well, but you look at the players that they had on there.
Their starting 11 was stronger than
Oh, it was way stronger than ours.
yeah.
What a job we've done there.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest positive for me was seeing a performance from Tino Livramento, which
Yeah,
means one, there's life after Kieran Trippier, who is just the best right back we've had. Such strength in depth that we've got for the first time since Sir Bobby.
yeah. What I will say is, no, again, I think Eddie Howe is sticking with the idea of Lewis Hall being a centre mid.
Well, he's played centre mid. He played left wing for most of when he was on, and then him and Target swapped. That's the kind of one thing I will say I never want to see. I never want to see Matt Target play left wing again.
But Eddie loves a pivot on the left hand side, doesn't he? He's I think that's his favourite kind of tactic. We're seeing that Anderson and Gordon were playing it on Sunday. They were playing it on Sunday. And it just seems to be whoever plays on that left hand side. There's a bit of a pivot going on there, so
Yeah.
long may it continue because it obviously works. And I'm excited to see more of Lewis Hall. There was a couple of little good moments he had in the first half, and just getting more minutes. Same with Lewis Miley as well. Just it's nice seeing we've got these young players coming through and not worrying about playing 30-odd-year-olds like John Joe Shelby and Colback and players like that. Now we've
Yeah.
got some
I mean,
decent.
we talk about the youngsters there, and like that's before you even get into like the likes of Elliot Anderson as well, who was superb at the weekend and just looks at home in that midfield in the Premier League, which is also fantastic to see. But look, plenty more to come, as I say, tonight on Newcastle Fans TV, and then we do it all over again on Saturday for Burnley at home. Our first 3 o'clock kickoff. Our first Saturday 3 p.m. of the season at the end of September. But yeah, please like the video. Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to Newcastle Fans TV, and check out the membership options as well. Plenty more coming up tonight. My thanks to you, Andy, for just being around and joining me on a famous evening here. And yes, Johnny will have the match reaction out if it's not already out already. Lee will have the last word out later on today. Stay tuned to Newcastle Fans TV, everyone, and we'll see you all on the next.